Hey everybody, welcome back to Prescription Bourbon. I'm DMC from Louisville, Kentucky. Today we're doing a blind flight tasting of 12-year-old blended Scotch whiskies. So in the flight today, we're going to have Johnnie Walker Black Label, 12-year-old whiskey, owned by Diageo. Johnnie Walker's probably the most famous Scotch whiskey of them all. It's certainly the #1 selling Scotch whiskey in the world. This Black Label is 12-year age stated, as all the whiskeys we're tasting today are. And Johnnie Walker probably has the greatest number of distilleries available producing whiskeys from them across Scotland. The greatest number of resources of distilleries producing for them. You know, they certainly make some excellent whiskey, and we'll see how they rank today. Up next is Buchanan's Deluxe blended Scotch whiskey, also aged 12 years, and this is also actually owned by Diageo. Some nice whiskey. Up next, we've got the Chivas Regal from the Chivas brothers, James and John Chivas, and another very famous blended whiskey, Scotch whiskey brand. And it's been around since 1801, and it is one of the few whiskeys that are endorsed by the Crown. And up next and final whiskey of today is Dewar's 12-year Scotch whiskey, which is double aged. So they actually age their whiskey for 12 years, then blend it together, do their blending and all that, and then put it in some additional barrels to age it for a little longer. So it's actually aged twice, and that extra aging that they say is after it's blended really adds to some smoothness, so they claim. All right, so John Dewar's and Son is another famous company for blending whiskey, but in the not too far recent past, one of their main distilleries, Aberfeldy, they actually started releasing, as its own single malt Scotch. So Aberfeldy 12, is a wonderful single malt Scotch you can buy, and that's one of the main primary Scotch whiskeys that goes into, all the Dewar's blends. So, all right, so I'm gonna get these unboxed, get them poured, and we'll do a blind flight with them. All right, so I've got the bottle sitting on the table now. I've got my 4 whiskeys poured here. Got them mixed up so they're not in the same order. And the glasses here that they are sitting on the table, that they might be, but hopefully they're randomized. But I'm going to go through and do a nosing and do a tasting. I'll let you know which one I find most enlightening today. All right, we'll call this A on your left. It's got a wonderful malty nose on it. Let's say some a little bit of brininess, saltiness, some honey, butterscotch. Very, very nice aroma. B. B's definitely a little darker. Smell some smoke on it. I can pull some caramel out of that also. So, Class C, certainly lighter than B. More of some buttered cookies, some honey on that, and D on the nose. More of that wonderful maltiness, similar to what I had on A. That is classic malt aromas on that. Very nice. All right, so if anything, the one that stood out the most was probably B on the nose. Taste-wise, you can see I've sampled these all somewhat. Most of these, are pretty light. Don't have any or much peat in them. The one exception to that might be the Johnnie Walker Black. I think as I've kept going back to it, that one probably does have a little bit of smoky peat on it, more than the other ones. The other ones could all have a little bit, but the Johnnie Walker probably had most. Another thing I didn't mention was price. These are really all about in the same price range, all close to that $30 price here where I live. Some of them I got for a little under 30, some of them for a little over 30. But, certainly all in that, let's call it $28 to $35 price range. So pretty close. All right, I'm going to go through and give them a taste. Start with A. Cheers. All right, that one, as much as I was getting all that, maltiness, all that malted barley in the nose, I think I can definitely, pick up some more of grain alcohol on that. So has a little bit of a bite to it. It definitely has some nice, honey flavors. A little bit of vanilla and all that, but yeah, definitely some of that grain alcohol. I did mention that these are all blended scotches, 12-year blended scotches. The blends are going to be all over the place. It's going to be a combination of the malt whiskey, which is the pot stilled, 100% barley malt pot stilled whiskey, but also some grain whiskeys. So out of Scotland. So that should all be all barley malt, also 100% barley malt, also. But yeah, it's column distilled. And definitely different. So, and the ratios are undisclosed. Who knows? So, go with B on the taste. Cheers. All right, definitely. Just like on the nose, I'm getting a little bit of smokiness on the taste. It's not as harsh as A, so it's definitely a little bit of an easier drinker. Very, very nice, very refreshing. But it has, it does have that malt taste on there. Has a little bit of grassiness, a little bit of smokiness. So very nice on B. Give C a taste. Cheers. I don't know if it's just because I'm coming after B or not, but it seems to be the sweetest of the three so far. It doesn't have, I don't pick up that harshness from any of the grain whiskey on that either. So, it very, very pleasant. A little bit of spice on the tongue. A little bit of vanilla on the taste. So, certainly, like I say, the sweetest so far. And the spiciest so far. I really haven't picked up any spice on the other two. So, give D a taste. Cheers. D has a lot more going on than the other ones. It has a lot of what the other ones had. It has. I do pick up a little bit of smokiness on this one. Picked up some spiciness on there. Picked up the sweetness. So it has the sweetness, the spiciness, the smokiness. Very pleasant, but I'm getting some dryingness there too. Which I would say is some oak, so some tannic oak on that too. So a little bit of drying oak. So this one had as much flavor as all the other ones combined. Very nice. Not so much the as pleasant as the nose is. I'm not really picking up and I did say it had some sweetness, but I'm not picking up that cookie flavor. I'm not picking up any vanilla or caramel or anything on the taste. It's just a sweet. It's got the oakiness, it's the smokiness, so and then spice, and that spice does linger. It's not hot, and also, by the way, these are all 40% ABV, so they're all 12-year age stated, 40% ABV, which is 80 proof, here in the States. So they're all the same proof point, all the same age. That spice on this does linger, but it's not hot. They're all only being 40% ABV. None of them were really hot, so they were all nice. This one might have had the most warmth, though, a little bit of warmth. All right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to let these sit. I'm going to cover them, let the aromas build in the glass a little bit. I'm going to go cleanse my palate, come back in about 10 minutes or so, and I'll taste them again in reverse order, and I'll give you my rankings. All right, everybody, welcome back. We'll go through and do a final round of tasting on these and give you my rankings for today. Before I do that, I wanted to let you know that you can find me on Instagram at instagram.com/prescriptionbourbon, and you can find me on Patreon at patreon.com/prescriptionbourbon, where you have access to some extra content, some early release content, some voting, things like that. So, love to see you and hear from you on those sites. All right, I'm going to go through and I'm going to start with D this time and go through and taste them in reverse order. One thing I might not have mentioned before, even though I said, and you can see that I've been drinking all these bottles, this is the first time I've ever put them up head to head. So I've been sampling these all individually. I've been enjoying them and all that, but really have not tasted them against each other at all. So there's certain flavor notes and aromas I may remember from some of these. I mentioned the smokiness that I get on the Johnnie Walker Black, but once they're all up against each other, I believe that goes out the window, and we'll see what we find. So, all right, cheers, Glass D. Wonderful nose. It does have some sweetness. It's not as sweet as I remembered it being. It does have the spice. It does have the oakiness that I remember. The oakiness compared to a bourbon and stuff, it's nowhere near as oaky as some bourbons I've had. So I said it was a little drying. I think that was just having drank it fourth in line after all these other ones. It seemed that way, but right now it's a nice amount of oak. I would not complain about it. Very ever so slightly warm too. It's like less warm than I remembered the last time. So less sweet, less warm. Oak's more pleasant. Beautiful nose. And that sweetness, I'll go ahead and call it a honey vanilla on the sweetness. So very, very nice. All right. Glass C. Cheers. All right, it's actually spicier. So I know when I drank through from A to D, this was the first one I had spice on, and then I had more spice on D. But coming back through, I had a little spice on D, but definitely C is the spiciest. It's pleasant. You know, I do get the sweetness. I think it is sweeter than D. The sweetness has some you know, some caramel vanillas on it, and that spiciness is very lingering. I mean, that's probably the longest finish of them all. So I do get a little bit of smokiness on that. I don't know if I said that the first time or not, but a little bit of smokiness on that. Close call between C and D. I do like the nose better on D. Go with B. Cheers. It's got a little sweet on it. Definitely has some smoke. Has some more subtle spices. They come late. They're more deep, earthier spices. Pleasant sip, but right now I'm going to put that behind C and D. Okay. Yeah, so A has what I would call that what I would call the most grain whiskey influence. So it's, you know, it's definitely sharper. Not bad. Nice aroma. Nice taste. It does have some sweetness. So at this point, they've all got some sweetness, which is nice. This one doesn't have the pronounced flavors on that, though. I mean, it doesn't have the caramel, vanilla that some of the other ones did. So. All right, so I'm definitely gonna have keep A ranked a little higher than B here, but my top two are going to be between C and D over here. Nice noses on both. I'm going to give the nose to D though. C has that sweetness, that spiciness. D has that sweetness and spiciness. And after C, it seems to have more spice. I think that was different when I was going the other direction. But it also has some smokiness and some oakiness. So I'm going to go with D. That's my top choice here. C's in third. So here's my order. Top is D, followed by C, A, B. Go through and do the reveal here. See how I liked them today. These are all delicious scotches. I mean, they're all 12-year blended scotches. So they're all nice, easy drinkers. None of them are overpowering. None of them are harsh at all. They just have some slightly different flavors on there and stuff. So very, very nice. But my fourth place today is the Buchanans. So this guy, which I actually seem to be getting the most smoke on out of all these, on the nose and on the taste, is the Buchanans. Coming in third place is A, and it is the Dewars. All right. So the Dewars, it was nice. If anything, I thought I had tasted the most grain whiskey on that one, at least initially, but that was the first thing I tasted though also, so I didn't get it as much as I went back and retasted, but that comes in third place. So second place, glass C, is CR Chivas Regal. All right, and that means my winner today, Class D, is the Johnnie Walker Black. So This one I did get some smokiness on the taste. Did not get it on the nose. But this one had everything that the other ones had in it. It had sweetness. It had smokiness. It had spice. It had oakiness. So the best of all worlds, if you want to say that. But that's what I ranked as my favorite today, Johnnie Walker Black. So very happy with that. Very actually surprised. I did not expect that. Surprised, but happy. All right, everybody. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this flight. What you think of these whiskeys. If you've had them before, if you haven't, let me know. Love to hear from you in the comments. If you liked what you saw, hit that like button. If you're not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button. It does help. It is free. So, but yeah, I'd love to have you as a new subscriber so you can continue my whiskey journey with me. Remember, all bourbon is whiskey, but all whiskey is not bourbon. And the best bourbon comes from Kentucky. And the best Scotch comes from Scotland. Cheers.